Well, hello.
Good
Good
morning.
morning. Yes, it is Thursday, March 26th, 2020, and we are progressing towards apocalypse. It seems, not really, but it's definitely getting worse. I think
Oh
yesterday when we
God.
filmed, we were at 53,000 people in the United
Yeah,
States.
something like that.
Today, it has jumped up 15,000 people
Oh my
to
God.
68,534.
Wow.
Um,
That's crazy.
so we are really starting to hit that exponential growth curve, and yeah, it's getting pretty terrifying.
That,
And in Italy, they're having problems burying people, so they're
ugh.
gathering up bodies, and yeah, it's bad.
Like, there's not enough room, or
Correct.
oh my God.
there's-
Well, that and there's not enough
They're-
people to do those services.
Right.
There's just not enough places to prepare bodies that quickly.
They're loading them into military trucks, and they're going to go basically do mass burnings.
Yeah.
I believe.
Holy cow.
Yeah.
And currently, Italy has the worst death rate, quickly followed by Spain, and then China's after that, France is after that, and then we're the bottom. But by our growth curve, before too long, we will be leading the way in terms of deaths. So, yeah, unless something changes drastically. But unfortunately, it sounds like Trump is gonna try to open the economy back up, which
Right.
is gonna make this thing 10 times
He
worse.
he just
Yeah, I
doesn't
saw
seem
that.
to grasp what's going on like at all. Well, he said
It's really
he said by Easter he wanted everything fixed and back online.
The problem is you can't, like, there's no way to predict exactly what's going to happen. You can't put a virus on a schedule and say fix it by now. That's just not how it works.
Right.
yeah. The other news today that is distressing to a lot of folks is the news of unemployment. The unemployment numbers came back from last week, and they're, I think, 3.3 million people,
Wow.
which typically over the last 30 years, unemployment has been between 3 and 500,000 people nationwide. So we're 10 times higher than kind of the peak unemployment.
Oh gosh.
So that's roughly 1 in 100 people are unemployed.
Holy
Which
cow.
is a lot more than where we've been in the past. So there is reason for concern about the economy, but and I think I misspoke yesterday when I said that the Congress and White House has passed a bill that hasn't actually happened yet. The Senate passed it, and now it's going to the House, a $2 trillion
Yep. The relief
stimulus
bill.
Yeah,
Yep.
so we'll be seeing how that works. Now, just to update on, like, yesterday afternoon after we talked, I sat on 3 different Zoom calls with our family's businesses and 2 different symphony board meetings.
Wow.
And throughout that, the it was just kind of a how do we deal with all of this, and no one really has the answers. It's clear. It's everybody has a little bit different opinion on what we need to be doing, but it's pretty scary stuff.
It's interesting.
is.
It's interesting the people they choose to be essential workers too. I noticed that
That was a big topic for us as well.
right, like how is that decided? Because I heard that like Great Plains laid off a whole bunch of workers, but Grainbelt is technically essential. They do the same thing. So
So I happen to know a lot about Great Plains. So Great Plains has 4 divisions. One that's finance, one that's trucking. I don't know anything about those 2. But Lampride is a division of Great Plains, and Lampride does landscaping equipment and not farming equipment.
Gotcha.
Great Plains does farming equipment. So landscaping isn't
Essential.
really as necessary as agriculture. So the Lampride side of that business, other than parts, is shut down. But the Great Plains side
Gotcha.
is considered essential. So what's interesting is that that's driven through to their suppliers. So as an essential business, they send letters to all of their suppliers saying, look, we're essential. That means you're essential too.
oh my goodness.
So, yeah, so it kind of spreads out because there's some businesses that are relatively distant from businesses that are supplying parts to a company that's supplying parts to a company that's supplying
Right.
parts. That's essential.
Right.
So
Do we want a daily question?
I think
yeah,
so.
let's do a daily question.
Okay. All
So
right.
we can just cut to this point.
What invention doesn't get a lot of love but has greatly improved the world?
Invention.
Hey, go lay down. Get out of here.
Get a lot of love.
There's a lot of possible answers to that.
I mean, I would say anything like, I don't know, like some kind of household appliance maybe, or
I was thinking toilets, because if we didn't have toilets, there would be big piles of poop everywhere.
Right?
And that does not sound fun. I'm glad to live in a world without big piles of poop.
Yes.
well, you know you can
and
bury it. That's the general consensus.
Oh. Yeah, I don't want to have to bury my poop either. I'm
No.
perfectly happy to do this.
No.
I can do this much work.
Minimum effort.
Minimum effort.
required.
Oh gosh. I was thinking something like paper towels instead of regular towels. Like, granted, we have kitchen towels, and like I wash them all the time, so we don't necessarily use paper towels in the kitchen very often. But for things like anything that gets spilt on the floor or like anything, I'm just like, man, I don't want to scrub my kitchen towels all over the floor. That's kind of gross. So it's nice to have a disposable way to clean things. That's
I'm
where
gonna
it's
go.
at.
I'm gonna go
I
like
agree
one
with
step
you.
further than Gus and say just specifically, or I guess generally more, just indoor plumbing.
Okay. That's a good one.
Because before that, it was you had to go out to the actual
Right.
pump and
Bailing buckets in and
get
out of your
water and
house,
stuff
right?
like that, and
Blech.
I would say that like indoor plumbing is probably the one that's had one of the biggest impacts.
All right, you're right.
I would agree.
Do we want another question?
Yeah, I think so.
I've got one here.
Okay.
If you could go to any museum for the rest of the day, what museum would it be?
Oh God.
Well, seeing as how I've never been there. The Natural Museum of History, or the Smithsonian.
Yeah, I've never been to either of those. Those are kind of my like top of the list. I should probably go here.
Oh,
However,
wait.
there's a I don't remember where it's at. Let me whip out the Google. The Google.
The other option for me would be the Jim Henson Museum. That's
That'd be interesting.
like I think it's like the Center for Puppetry or something like that.
That's
It's in-
awesome.
I don't remember what state it's in. It's wherever Jim Henson is originally from. Mississippi, maybe. I don't remember. I've always wanted to go there.
Oh, that's okay. There's a museum that is in Los Angeles, California, and it's called the Museum of Death.
Oh my.
Yeah, it's like a true crime, like killer type museum.
That's interesting.
That sounds interesting.
Yeah.
I would probably I've been to a lot of museums. That's my parents really love museums, so I got to go to a lot. Probably the one that I haven't been to that I would love to go to is the World War I Museum in Kansas City.
Oh my gosh, yes! I've had a
it's
few
so
friends
close,
go
and I've
there
never
and
been
like
there.
take pictures, and it was a really cool looking place from what they saw.
Yeah, it's a big deal. Probably the museum visit that impacted me the most was visiting the National Holocaust Museum in D.C. When Hannah and I were there for a youth symphony trip a couple years ago, and that place it sounds bad. I got to go to a concentration camp when I was in Germany in high school, and
Wow.
there, like, it was just buildings though, and it was kind of hard to get a deeper sense of the tragedy. But
Right.
the museum in DC, it was very
I
impactful.
think the
So,
most impactful museum I had ever been to was the motel that had been transformed into a museum, and across the street where the shooter was at Martin Luther King Jr.'s.
oh man,
Yeah, that was a crazy awesome experience.
it's
I bet going to
interesting
the
how.
I bet going to
Go
both
ahead.
either that museum in D.C. or the actual concentration camp would have been a very surreal experience.
Yeah, yeah. I've never been to Auschwitz or any of the like the extermination camps. I've
Mm.
only been to one of the. It was more of a work camp, but yeah, I understand. All of those are places that are hard to be at.
Yeah, I don't know if you've ever been to that hotel either, but like the way they have it set up is you can like walk into the room that was next door to Martin Luther King, and they have like a window cut in the wall so you can see into the room where he was, and like they left it entirely untouched, like so that is exactly what it looked like. After like the second he walked out onto the balcony and was killed, like everything that was in there is still in there.
Oh, really?
Yep,
Oh
and
my
across
gosh.
the street they bought the property where the shooter was like pretty much living, and they have that all turned into a museum too. Like the getaway car and everything that the guy
Where's
drove was
that
in
at,
there.
Amber?
It's in I'm pretty sure it's in Birmingham,
Is it
right?
Birmingham? Okay.
Or it's
I couldn't.
somewhere over there. Let me look really quick.
Or Montgomery or
Yeah,
I
maybe
don't
it's
know.
Montgomery. Yeah.
Okay. I
Uh,
been to Alabama, but I don't. We never went either of those places. I don't think.
Let me check really quick. That we went with the debate team. It's been a few years now.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Several of my family have done this thing called the Sankofa journey,
Mm-hmm.
something Kofa journey, and it was my mom and I think my cousin, maybe a couple cousins have done it, and it's kind of a bus trip, and it sounds kind of weird, but they basically pair like white and non-African American people with African American people, so they go through the South together and they visit sites that are important,
Oh,
and
wow.
it my mom still meets occasionally Sankofa. I'm pretty sure that's what it's called.
Mm-hmm.
So she meets occasionally with her African American friend, who's actually my biology teacher from
Oh,
middle school.
it's in Memphis.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
Oh, that's right.
Yep.
Tennessee. Okay.
And it's the Lorraine Hotel. That's what it was.
Hmm.
Yep.
But it's really impacted the people I know who've done it. It's really impacted their lives a lot to understand kind of the whole civil rights movement and see it through the eyes of their like, it's all like the people that go on these trips are from about the same location, so
Okay.
you have chances to meet up afterwards and stuff. So anyway, that's kind of interesting.
Wow.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
That was a good question.
Yeah. What is the most bizarre, outlandish, quote unquote, outside your comfort zone food you have ever tried?
It's a good, interesting question. I've only in the last several years have I begun to really branch out and try different foods and stuff, and so. Out of my comfort zone.
The first time I ate
can't think of
sushi,
one, actually.
I was like terrified of eating sushi. And now I eat sushi all the time.
The last trip I took to Kansas City with Barnabas, we actually went to like a true Thai restaurant, and I actually had some like true food, true Thai food, and that had like I had never had it before, and like yeah, I was worried. I was like, oh God, I'm not gonna like it, but Man, we decided had we lived in Kansas City, we would have been back at that restaurant like every day.
Hannah and I have that conversation on a daily basis. Like if we lived in a big city like New York,
Oh,
we
yeah.
would eat out every meal, and we would go to a different ethnic place.
Oh, yeah,
'Cause
absolutely.
There's so many.
Yep.
Like I love Greek food.
Yep.
Greek food is
Oh,
like my
me
favorite.
too.
I haven't had a lot of experience with Greek or Mediterranean style food. Like the one that I've had was like, if you've been to Aladdin's in Lawrence, I think it was. Wait, it was either no, I don't. Maybe it wasn't Aladdin's. It was. There's at least one or two different Mediterranean places there, and oh, that's what it was. Mad Greek. That's what I'm thinking of.
Ooh, that sounds good.
I just whatever I had there specifically
Greek.
didn't
That's what-
quite. Just wasn't quite for me. Like the sauce or whatever it was, I just didn't quite like. I'm always willing to try more,
Oh.
of course, but
Was it white sauce?
yeah,
Tzatziki?
kind of a tangy sort of.
Yeah, that's what I live for. It's cucumber sauce. That's my sauce. I love that
That's
sauce.
the good
I'm
stuff.
not about that.
So, thank you again for tuning in. We will be back tomorrow with the Friday edition. Is it today's Thursday, right?
Yeah, today's
It is
Thursday.
Thursday, yeah.
Oh,
Okay.
God, we're losing
Today has
track
gone
of days.
by fast compared to last week. Like this week has gone by very fast. I feel maybe not.
I
Anyway,
think we're just starting
so-
to get used to it.
yeah, probably. Well, thank you for tuning in. We'll be back tomorrow. Hope everything is going well on your end, and stay tuned. There's a lot going on Fili, and hopefully there'll be a video game video up today. I hope.
Yep.
All right. Thanks. Have a great day.
Bye.
Bye.